Hey, I'm Josh from Booner Blinds, and today we're going to show you how we put together a 4-panel Booner blind. You're going to start with getting the two pieces kind of clamped together so they support each other. Here's how I kind of clamp it. I use a vice grips on the top. You can use just about any clamp, a C-clamp or like a quick grip clamp will work too. But I like a vice grips, and then I use a quick grip clamp on the bottom to hold the bottom, and that kind of gets you a platform to work off of so that the panels aren't fighting you. For the 4-panel Booner, you're going to want to look at the lines that are called out on the bent edges of the panel. For the 4-panel, you're going to want to line up the edge with the dimples over the top and cover the number 5 all the way up to the line that has the 4 at the bottom of it. When you're building a 5 or a 6 panel, you're going to overlap the other side of the panel on this 5. So for the 5 or the 6 panel, you use the 5 mark. So I'll show you how to do that now. I just take the clamp off. I got the bottom in the right spot. I'll line it up and I'll just set the vice grips again so it's in the right spot. Then I can go ahead, once I have it clamped top and bottom, I'll drill the center hole. Punch that through. If you have somebody that can help you and be on the inside, that helps a lot. If you don't, it's definitely possible to do this by yourself. It's just beneficial with 2 people. We'll use a 7/16 socket to install the bolts into the panel. It's easiest if you have somebody on the inside, but if you don't, you could reach through the window and hold the nut from the other side. After I drill the center one with the clamp on the top and the bottom, I go ahead and drill all the rest of my holes. And then you're just going to repeat this process for the 4, the 5, or the 6 panel. So you just keep going around until you get to the door. The door panel installs the same way, but then we'll have some more instructions as we get to the door for how you put the hardware on and put the latch on. We're going to show you how we put the window in next. We already pre-installed the hinges. Pretty simple. You're just going to install the hinge with the round barrel on the inside of the blind. And your bolts and your nuts will stick out the backside facing the outside of the blind. You'll grab the same screw that you used to install it. I like to just put the screw in the hinge, and the hole in the blind will actually grab the screw, so you can just run it in and it'll grab it, making it easier to put the other screws in. This is something that you can do when the panels are flat before you get out into the woods or wherever you're putting the blind. Sometimes that makes it easier. And then we'll show you how to install the window clips around the edges. So the same thing, you'll put the screw into the window clip. There's a pre-drilled hole that the screw just drives into. There's no nut or anything on the back side. You're just gonna put that in until it's tight, but you don't want it to be too tight. You don't want to strip the plastic. And that's how you put a window in a Booner blind. All right, we've completed the panel assembly of the Booner blind. And when you get to the door, you have to cut the tabs out that the door comes shipped with the tabs in to keep it nice and square. It's 3 tabs. And then the door will swing open. So we'll put the seals on next. They'll come tie wrapped together. They're all pre-cut a little bit long. So when you install them, you just have to trim them to length. You can use cutters like I have here, or a good scissors will cut these as well. It just slides on. You're just kind of using the shape of the blind to cut the gaskets. Next we'll install the door latches. I've got a door latch pre-assembled here. You can see there's a dimple that comes right after the handle. We'll put the door handle into the door. You'll line up the dimple with the small hole on the bottom. So you'll just install this door handle part into the bushing. The dimple will line up with the small hole. Put your handle in the horizontal position. Next you'll have the spacer that goes on. Then the flat washer. And then the lock nut. We're going to use a 9/16 socket to run that lock nut on. Again, make sure that the dimple is in the hole before you do that. And you can adjust that for how tight you want the door handle to move up and down. Then you put your spacer nut on. You put your handle on in the vertical position when this handle is in the horizontal position. Slides on, then you put the last nut on. You can tighten that up. And then you can adjust that for how tight you want the door to be. This one's a little loose, so I can tighten that one up. And then you'll put the other one on the bottom, the same as you did the one on the top. All right, next we'll install the door support latch. You can just get it started with one screw. It should grip right into the blind plastic without a nut. And you can put all three of the screws in the bottom part. And you can just install the nuts on the back side when you get all of them in. Then there'll be a lock catch that's on the top, and there'll be two pre-drilled holes that goes into. You might have to push your gasket down so that you can get to that second hole. And then the gasket you can just push right back up over the top. The door support is important for when you're not in the blind. When you're in the blind, obviously you don't need to hook that on, but when you leave the blind, it's important for the structure of the door to latch this. All right, so the final thing that we're going to show you is how we put the seal on the window. You can do this before you put it in the blind, or you can do it after you put it in the blind, whichever you find the easiest. We just start the seal somewhere on the side. You kind of peel a little bit off the roll at a time. Kind of just use your fingers to guide it, and you just follow the outside of the window. You shouldn't have to cut it. You should be able to just stick it on. Just peel back the white backing as you go. You want to keep this as close to the edge as you can so it doesn't obstruct the view, and you get a good seal around the inside of the blind. You can also put this foam on the blind if that's what you'd prefer, or if you think that's easier. The window will seal the same way. So that's how we put the foam on the window. Next we'll show you how we install the roof. Here we have a 4-panel roof. The 4-panel roof is a 1-piece, the 5-panel roof is a 2-piece, and the 6-panel roof is a 4-piece. And we'll show you how that goes together after we get this one on. You're going to set this on top of these flanges. You kind of work your way around the blind until it kind of sits down all the way around. Then you're going to drill out the center dimple on all 4 sides, and then you can drill the rest of the holes and put all your nuts and bolts in. One thing you want to do is push down with a little bit of pressure so your roof sits nice and tight on the flange. We'll put the bolt in the center of the roof. If you start with the door, you can kind of use the door and just reach inside, put the nut on, and then you can get to both sides. This will help keep the roof stable when you put the other holes and the nuts and bolts in. And we'll drill and we'll put the rest of the bolts in. Here we have the completed Booner blind with the roof installed. You can get this with clear or tinted window options. And this is the complete 4-panel Booner blind. The Booner blinds come with a vertical panel window option. The 5-panel blind you can get with different options of vertical and horizontal windows. And the 6-panel blind you can get with 3 vertical panels and 3 horizontal panels. All right, so we just finished up the 4-panel Booner blind. I want to show you how we do the roof for the 5-panel and the 6-panel. So with the 5-panel, I just clamp the front side to kind of hold it so it's not coming apart. You want to put a bucket underneath to support the panel with the flat rib. It's about 10 inches tall. That seems to be a good height. Then you'll take the half with the rain guard and you'll bring it over the top. You want to make sure you push down so the lip extends underneath and you get a good drill hole through both flanges. There are dimples, so you know where to drill. And we'll just use the same 7/16 socket that we were using before. You just follow through and you'll get all the dimples on the panel. And that's how you put together the 5-panel roof. All right, now we'll show you how we do the roof for the 6-panel blind. You're gonna get 4 pieces. There's gonna be 2 A's and 2 B pieces. And you're gonna wanna line those up so that the straight flange goes underneath the rain guard. So the B piece is gonna go underneath the A piece and you're gonna alternate all the way around. Again, you're gonna use the same 10-inch bucket. Get the flange underneath the rain guard. You're gonna want to push down to make sure that the flange is pulled up in underneath the rain guard as much as possible. Find the dimple and then you'll drill your hole through. Push your bolt through the flange and you'll tighten it up with a 7/16. You'll drill the rest of these dimples out and then you'll move on to the next piece, and you can just do that all the way around for all 4 pieces. Once you've finished tightening up all the bolts all the way around and getting the panels put together, the last thing that you'll do is install the top of the roof. You'll take the 4 included machine screws and you just put 1 in each rib around the edges. And that's how you put together the 6-panel roof. When you go to install this, you'll do it the same as we did with the 4-panel Booner. You'll start by drilling each center and tighten that all up, and then you can drill on either side of that and tighten it up all the way around. And that's the Booner blinds.